I think there's two kind of main people looking to get in texting. It's people who are like trying to do more deals. And then you also have people who might not come in with the money to send direct mail, who need to do cold texting, that kind of stuff.
Like, you want to talk about guaranteed ways to reach someone. You can call someone, you can text someone, and you can send them a piece of mail.
It's more efficient than you picking up the phone and you calling people yourself, and it's way cheaper than direct mail, where you need to spend 65 cents per lead essentially to send out a mail.
You don't want leads coming from one source necessarily. Sometimes texting is going to work better, sometimes mail is going to work better. Ultimately, they work together and you'll get better mail results based on your follow-up text to that. Who says no to more deals? Have you ever heard anyone?
No.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today's topic, we're discussing implementing texting into your land flipping business. I'm your host, Andrew Apke, joined again by my brother and business partner, Ron Apke. Texting has been, up and down over the last 12 months, Ron. It's been launch control, the service we use, has been down at times because of changing regulations. Texting in general is always changing. There's a lot of legalities behind it, but there's also a lot of deals you can get.
100%. And we've probably been teaching, I don't know when you made that. We've probably been teaching it for a year. Like, we did a lot of testing with it. Then we created our program, or part of our program, and we started that. We don't create something unless we really believe it. And that's when we did that. And it seems to be catching on. Like, the regulations came in, I think, like February or something. But since then, it seems like the amount of people doing deals from texting, I don't know if a lot of people are shying away from texting, but it has definitely grown. I have no doubt about it. And people are making a ton of money. That's why I want to talk about this.
It seems like there's just more and more deals coming in, texting lead. And another thing we've implemented in the last 12 months, and we don't teach it, we outsource it. And we haven't done any, but we see a lot of the members, it's cold calling. And texting, cold calling, and mail. Those are the three main sources. Obviously, you have Google PPC and things like that we haven't really dove in yet. But these are tried and proven, those three methods. Cold calling works great. Texting and mail are obviously very proven. But in this episode, we're going to talk about if you guys are texting or you guys haven't implemented that in your business yet. We're going to talk about some strategies that you can use to maybe improve your results or get this started on your business.
Absolutely. And I think there's two kind of main people looking to get in texting. It's people who are like trying to do more deals. And a lot of times they're sending mail. They want to do more deals. And then you also have people who might not come in with the money to send direct mail, who need to do cold texting, that kind of stuff. I think there's two very distinct categories of people.
Yeah, exactly. And also one thing we should probably touch on before we start is a little bit of budget too.
Yeah, 100%. So we just had Landon on the other day, last Thursday, I think, if you guys are, or maybe it was around then, last Thursday, a couple weeks ago, a student who's been very successful with texting. He is scaling up to 50,000 texts per month. But a base starting for launch control, I think, is about $500. So you have three main costs. You have your software, like where you're texting from. You have your data, where you're getting the ownership data. And then you have the skip tracing cost. Ownership data is going to be anywhere. Land portal is 6 cents is the lowest you can get it, as low as 6 cents. And then skip tracing is going to be 9 to 10 cents. And then launch control, I think it's around $300 to $500, depending on how many you're sending out.
Correct. Yes.
So per text,
I think it's 400 or something.
So if you're sending 5,000 texts a month, I'm just trying to do the math in my head. You have $500 of that, and then $500. You're going to be around $1,000, I think, $1,200.
You are, and that's the legitimate way to go about it. Launch control is a very good software for that. Once you get a deal or something, invest in it. There are softwares that are almost freaking free. They're so cheap for texting, but they do not have the same regulation. If that 500 is a burden, you can't get started with it. Get your first deal, then hop to it. It's only $500, but that's monthly. Obviously, that's $6,000 a year almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that can be a lot of money for some people just starting out. So you can really do texting with a, $500 budget or so, I think.
Yeah. It matters just volume you're trying to do, but your goal is to get leads. And so many people, and let's talk about that cold strategy where it's a budget thing, where they are coming in with a couple of $500, $700 that they can spend a month on this. I think that's a good starting point for this. And cold texting is going to be different than follow-up texting, but like you need to find a way to get leads. It's more efficient than you picking up the phone and you calling people yourself, and it's way cheaper than direct mail, where you need to spend 65 cents per lead essentially to send out a mailer.
Exactly. Yeah. And mail, when we talk about mail in general, it's the most expensive there is by far, but it's also the most efficient for a blind offer standpoint. for your time. And that's where the trade-off is, Ron. It's time versus money. Texting's a lot cheaper. Cold calling, if you're doing it yourself, is obviously the cheapest, but you can outsource that and it's a little bit more. But texting in general fits that budget. It also like you can call someone, you can text someone, and you can send them a piece of mail. Like you want to talk about guaranteed ways to reach someone.
Yep.
They have a phone typically. You can call them or you can text them on their phone. Or you can send them a piece of mail. They're going to get those. You have emails as well that you can do, but you just got to think about touching people in different ways, and that's when we get into follow-up versus cold text.
Yeah, and that's what Landon was saying. Like you already have the data. If you send a piece of mail and you want to increase your deal percentage, whatever, your efficiency on the amount of data, amount of mail you're sending, like sending a second follow-up, having a cold call, whatever it is, a follow-up text is what I really like for that. And it is going to, you already have the data. So you don't need to pile on more data costs. All you need to do is skip trace for the phone number. And then obviously have the software platform. But you're not paying again for that data if you already sent the data with the mail, essentially.
Yeah.
You have it, so use the data.
Exactly.
And I think so few people, a lot of times I talk about barrier to entry on things. Like the more barrier to entry on things, the less competition you're going to have. And just the more efficient or more effective it's going to be. And texting within the last 12 months, there's a much larger barrier to entry. People get frustrated with the regulations and stuff, and they don't problem solve to get through it. So less people are sending text messages. There are legal ways to do it. It is legal to do it. Launch Control has a very, like Dan said, a very legal compliant system with it. If you don't put the time to figure out, like that's on you.
It's the time. People don't get into it because of the time it takes. And you're going to get a lot of leads back, a lot of messages back. It's a lot of work. And that's what's holding people back as well, is that time. There's people, you come in with a good amount of budget. You want to, max out your efficiency on your time. You want to send mail. Why don't you go into texting too? It's with the work.
Combination.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't get past the setup phase. Like I've talked to quite a few people who just got frustrated with the setup phase. It's the same thing as anything. Like you gotta, the regulations are going to constantly change. So you need to be adjusting. You need to stay on top of that. But I think a lot of people who want to get more leads who want to make this business work, kind of don't like the loophole, the things they have to go through.
Yeah. And it's also from a sustainability standpoint, it diversifies your top of funnel
for sure,
and your leads. You don't want leads coming from one source necessarily. You always want to mix that up. If one thing goes wrong, you have the other. It balances each other out. Sometimes texting is going to work better. Sometimes mail is going to work better. But ultimately, they work together and they make you more efficient of a business together. And I that's why I love it. Is it just you'll get better mail results based on your follow-up text to that. Mm-hmm. And I even heard someone talking about, and I thought of this when we were at lunch with Landon, and then Landon actually said it right after that too, is they're saying, hey, I sent you a piece of mail, which is they're lying to the person.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, I sent you a piece of mail. Did you just wanted to remind you that's expiring in 3 days. Your offer expires in 3 days. Did you have any interest in selling your land? But that them saying that right there, the likelihood of them responding because they know you already touched them in the mail and they know that you sent them a text now too. Typically, we've taught the follow-up, which is send the mail, then text right after within 2 weeks or so. Yeah,
I don't like the line.
I don't like the line.
It gives me a weird feeling.
You'll get caught, and
also,
it
can be illegal. I don't know.
It can, but also the mail works, and the mail's going to work for you. So there's no reason to lie because you're going to get good mail results, and then you follow up to it, and you make your mail results even better, and then you have text results.
If you're sending mail right now, and doing deals, there is no reason for you not to figure this out because you can do this with a $4 an hour VA very efficiently. Is there going to be more work? But you want that to be your high level work that you're doing from texting. Like you're doing the follow-up calls that are legitimate leads. You're reviewing deals and that kind of stuff. So you building your systems up to that with the VA, there is no reason for people not to be texting if they've been in this business 6 months. It will be added time, but it's going to improve your businesses efficiency, your profit, everything. It is going to make you a ton more money.
And once you figure out the systems and the funneling, you can take that same process and do it on other forms of top of funnel also. Mm-hmm. It's like that's a standard lead coming in. You got to identify if they're hot and cold and then take them down the funnel, right? The same thing with texting. Mail is unique with the blind offer because it has the offer price, it has the sales. A lot of the callers that call in have to, take the time to review that, and then they call in and they're very motivated and they've seen the price on it. Texting is different because you need to tell them the price, give them their offer, take them through a whole process, which is similar to cold calling as well. So if you can learn how to text in that funnel, that's going to apply to almost any business out there. That is a very transferable skill to have in general, and that skill will never go away whether you take it into anything, neutral letters, cold calling, PPC, anything like that.
And one of the best things about like the follow-up text. So when we say follow-up text, guys, we're saying send a mailer a couple weeks later after the mail hits, send a follow-up text, let them know the offer's expiring, let them know whatever you kind of want to let them know. And the nice thing about the follow-up text is you already have the mail priced. So a VA can go in there and see the reference number, see whatever. And since you already sent a blind offer, that data is already priced out. So the VA can do some of that upfront stuff where you're not getting involved till a little further down the line. The farther down the line, as long as it's efficient and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, the farther down the line you can be in the process, it's going to feel a lot less like a burden, like an added thing.
Yeah, they need to qualify them. And also there's VAs that will get on the phone and qualify also. Texting to phone to passing it to you to close. That's a route that I've seen. You got to test different things out and talk to experienced people in texting and see what's working. But in general, a lot of the deals are closed over the phone. So get them on the phone. You can qualify them or disqualify them based on the response in text. Maybe send them another one or two back with a set of questions. Then get them on the phone, qualify them, get an offer, close them.
Would you have, like, anyone who's been in this business 6-12 months, like, would you say if they're doing mail, if they're successfully doing mail, would you push them to text? Would you push them to learn about texting, try it out? Like, what would your advice be, or just keep doing what they're doing?
I would try it out. I don't think there's any harm in it. You want more deals? They're going to say yes.
Yeah.
Who says no to more deals? Have you ever heard anyone?
No, but I mean, it's the operations behind it.
The texting.
Yeah.
I agree, but it's to get more deals, and it is going to be more work. But if they're full time and they have the time, or they're dedicated and want to get out of their job, it's going to get them closer to that where they want to go.
It diversifies your business quite a bit. Like adding that, you can adjust. Like maybe texting becomes more efficient. Like it's not the same. Who knows? Like you just don't know where it's going to be going, and you being able to like, okay, texting right now is 10% of my deals. You being able to flip the switch and like, okay, now I'm texting X percentage, and just in growing like that, having two top of funnel strategies, even though it's kind of a follow-up thing, if it is follow-up, I can't hurt.
There are lead companies too that can do all this for you.
Yeah.
If you don't want to set it up, they can text for you. It's a lead generation company. They'll do a combination of things. They'll cold call, text, and they'll do all kinds of things for you. Under a price point, it's obviously more expensive, but there's that route also to where you can just get the lead. I think, we just got to think more broadly top of funnel. We think such in one direction, blind offers, this is how it's done. Not us specifically, but just the land world. And texting, like just open your mind up. A lead is a lead, and there's so many ways to get it.
How do you work a lead? Like that's what you got to look at it like that. How do you work a lead? So many people take leads for granted, like we've talked about.
How do you get the qualified lead? And then once you get them, what do you do with them, and how do you take them to the process to close them?
Yep, exactly. And that's really the name of the game. How do you do that more times? Multiple touch points is a proven thing. Like it's nothing new. It's not brand new that we're saying like having multiple touch points on someone is something that is going to help your business. You got anything else to add on that though, Dan?
No, if you guys are in thinking about this, think of if you guys don't have the time to text and mail works for you, and you don't want more deals or to add that to your pipeline, look at lead gen companies. If that doesn't work, look at cold calling also, because that's a very similar way. I'm a huge fan of cold calling. I know it works. It's going to be very specific on the company you choose to outsource that with, because what is a cold call? It's someone directly calling the owner. It's not a text coming in, right, where you can test it out. It's someone who's calling an owner and talking to them over the phone to try to gauge their interest and get a lead, right? So a lot's going to be dependent on the company and things, but I think all these work together. Just focus on your funnel of bringing leads in, and then what to do to get the lead more, and just keep catering to them and close the deal. And that's really all it is. Bring the lead in and then cater to the lead and bring them down the funnel. Exactly. Well, other than that, guys, if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, share this with a friend, share it on your Instagram story, whatever it is. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below, like the video, let us know in the comments if you have any other suggestions. Other than that, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.